recently took an 11-day cruise on one of Norwegian Cruise Line's newer ships, the Prima, and we are here to share our likes and dislikes when it comes to this controversial cruise ship. Hi everyone, we're Sharon and Jamie from Sharonatsea Travel. Thanks for joining us today. Now we call the Prima a controversial cruise ship because ever since she came out, the Prima class ships have taken a lot of heat from cruisers about their venues and lack of space to accommodate the passengers.
Now, truth be told, we've actually cruised on the Prima 2 times already, but those 2 cruises were within the first 2 months of her sailing from U.S. ports, so it's been quite a while since those cruises. And on this cruise, we wanted to see what has changed and what has remained the same. And if you're interested, you can go back in time here at Sharonatsea Travel and watch a lot of those Prima vlogs and some of our opinions from the first couple times that we sailed on her.
Now let's start with a few things that we really liked about the ship on our recent sailing.
All right, first off, the Penrose Bar is located in the atrium on deck 6. It has a small area with a few chairs and tables, and on previous sailings, they would have entertainment playing in that area up against a wall adjacent to the bar virtually every night. It was a hot spot. People were there all the time. The entertainers were barely visible and could only be seen from the bar or one of the chairs in that area. It was not a great setup. On this cruise, they moved the band from being tucked away and hiding to right out in the middle of the atrium. They were visible from all areas of deck 6, and you could even see them from deck 7 and 8 as well. This was a great change, and we really liked it a lot. I thought it impacted the quality of the cruise. The evenings hanging out in the atrium area were fantastic, and you could just jam out and listen to the tunes. So nice move. That was a great change by Prima.
Another thing we liked, or actually loved, was also a change from our previous experience on the Prima. We mentioned the small venues, and one of the most popular venues on the ship is Sid Norman's Poorhouse, which is always packed, especially when the house band does the Fleetwood Mac show. Rumors. They do an album tribute, and it is amazing. Yeah. That is my favorite show.
Oh, yes, it is, by far.
Yeah. You have to get there really early to get a good seat, or any seat for that matter. And what we liked is that they actually had someone dedicated kind of there at the front of the line, keeping things organized before the show. On previous sailings, there was nobody there. You know, people would come in, cut in line, and it was just a madhouse and hard to get a seat. And it was really disappointing when you're waiting in line for that long and then everyone piles in front of you and you can't get a seat.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
This time there was someone there keeping things organized, like I said, and it made things run so much smoother, and it just made for a great experience.
All right, another thing that we loved was the speed of service and the food in the different restaurants. From the main dining room to the local specialty dining and the indulged food hall, every place we ate at, we experienced great and fast service and awesome food. Now, this was an 11-night cruise, so that's a lot of meals that were great. Full disclosure, there was only just one, Sharon, instance of below par service, and that was one night in the main dining room when we decided to try to have our entire group eat together, and that ended up being like 2 tables of 10 right next to each other. We really had to do some finagling to make that happen. We did have some struggles on that particular evening, but looking back, that was the only bump in an otherwise very smooth road of dining on the Prima this time around.
Yeah, and you know, we were with a group, like we said, so we kind of, we're not counting that one.
Yeah, we just throw that experience out the door, and we'll think about all the other ones. So nice job, Prima, on dining this time around.
Keeping on the topic of food, we really had some great experiences with room service. Mm-hmm. We used it often for breakfast, and yes, it does cost a few bucks for delivery, but with so many early port days, we got a hot breakfast delivered to our room, and it was always right on time. And we really love those new bento box style, kind of bento style boxes that they had, where they put the silverware, the condiments, and everything in there. And it's kind of like almost like a grab and go type box, but it's just really cool. So you could just grab your box and take it over to the bed or out on the balcony, and we loved the room service breakfast.
Now here's a big like that we rarely even notice on other cruises that we go on, but we really like the captain, particularly the captain's announcements. Now on many cruises, you might hear the captain on the overhead speaker giving you a quick update about the weather, ship's location, we're sailing towards this island at how many knots, and it's going to be sunny, have a nice day type of stuff. This captain would actually come on and talk for what seemed like 10 minutes at a time. He would talk about the port we're visiting. He would explain the route we were taking and recommend things to look for as we approached the area. One time I remember him coming on at night and telling us to look outside the next morning about 2 hours before we arrive in port so we don't miss the fjords we were traveling through. It was really just kind of a unique experience, and we don't remember a time when a captain really spent this much time sharing such great information about our sailing through the overhead speakers. It was one of those things where when you heard the captain come on, you knew something good and important was about to be said, and you would just stop and you're like, okay, talk to me, Captain. Talk to me.
And lastly, we really liked the laundry service, or I know I really liked the laundry service.
Sharon, I liked it too. I liked having some clean clothes. That was a long trip.
Yeah. Now, I know everyone doesn't take advantage of the laundry, and they didn't have the self-service laundry facilities, but for about $30, you could fill up a bag, take it to your cabin steward, or leave it in your room for the cabin steward, and they would take it to laundry. You know, since it was an 11-night sailing, we did have a few days in London beforehand, so we really needed to have some laundry done. So we decided to take advantage of it, pay the $30, and it came back so nice the next day. It was clean, pressed, hung up in our cabin for us. Everything looked great, smelled great, and I think that's probably the best laundry service I've had on any cruise line that we've had so far. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was, I think Norwegian does this on most of their cruises, from what I've heard. But about midway through the cruise, I think they have a special, and it is we paid $30. Otherwise, I think it's a little bit more. But great laundry, Norwegian.
All right, so those are just a few of the things we really liked that kind of jumped out at us as we took a look back at the cruise. There were many other things that we really liked, and it was a really fantastic time. But as always, not everything was perfect. So here's what you guys are really waiting for: our dislikes from our recent European Prima cruise. Now, I'm going to jump right in and start out with this one, Sharon. Let's start with the internet. The ship has Starlink internet, right? A lot of ships are getting that now. You've seen an uptick in the quality of internet across the board on cruise ships, really. We expected a great internet experience, but not only was the connection a bit unreliable at times, but we were literally unable to upload a video that we edited on the cruise. I tried to upload a 20-minute video, and I've uploaded the same type of video, the same size, the same length and everything previous times on multiple other ships and cruise lines, and the video would just not upload. I tried for 2 days, including one time leaving it uploading overnight, and then the next day while we were in port, and it never got past 60% completed before it just canceled itself out. Now, I tried to take my laptop to the Starbucks area, thinking maybe there's a better connection in that area. Well, that wasn't any better. I went to the internet desk to ask about upload speeds, and I was told by the guy working at the desk that the speed would be the same anywhere on the ship because, you know, whether you're in your cabin, whether you're at the Starbucks, any place else, you're going to be getting the same download and upload speeds. Now, I was told that the ship has Starlink, but they don't use the highest level of performance available because that would be too expensive. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're just doing some cutbacks, trying to save a few bucks, but don't cut back on the internet. We need that internet. All right, Sharon, next, let's talk water. This is a hot one for you, right?
Yeah, there's always, I don't know why, but Norwegian seems to always have the most water issues.
Watergate with Norwegian cruises.
Anyways, NCL has in the past had these unique square water cartons versus the plastic water bottles that other cruise lines used to have, or have now.
Yeah.
But they were oversized, and they kind of got mixed reviews, and people just preferred the standard water bottles over those square cartons. Well, Norwegian no longer has those cartons. They have changed the cartons to cans. And I heard so many people on board, including us, complaining about the cans. The biggest issue with these cans is once you open them, I mean, they're open. You either have to drink it or, if you're carrying it around, you can't really close it. So it's kind of inconvenient to carry around. You can't open it if you're out on an excursion off the ship and stick it back in the side of your backpack because it'll spill. Mm-hmm. So those cans are horrible. So, if you go on Norwegian going forward, you really have to bring like a water bottle or something to put it in because the cans are awful. We hated the cans, didn't like the
BYOB, bring your own bottle. I think
that's a cruise. You definitely have to bring a water bottle. to put your water in if you're going on a Norwegian
I don't like
ship
that.
going forward.
I've seen that in a few places. Water in cans.
Yeah.
I don't like to drink my water out of a can.
I don't either, and I just don't like the taste of it. So Norwegian, I never liked your cartons before, but please bring back the cartons.
Right. Another issue we had, and yes, this was also an issue on our previous cruises, was storage and counter space in the cabin. Now, we had a balcony cabin. We love the bathroom. We love the balcony. We love the location of the cabin. The bedding, the decor, it was all awesome, but there is a lack of storage space in the cabins on the Prima and on the Prima class ships in general. The closets have shelving, and there isn't really any place to hang a full-length dress or a gown. Now, I don't have one of those, but Sharon does, so there you go.
And the only thing I can think of is maybe since they don't really have formal nights, maybe they figure no one's bringing long dresses. But
I guess.
a lot of women bring sundresses that are long.
Right.
So, yeah.
With just 3 of us, the closets were packed full, and we actually had packing cubes piled on top of other packing cubes. It was crazy. Also, there's very little counter space in these rooms as well. Now, we've mentioned it before, but it's worth saying again. If you're traveling with 2 people, it's not so bad, but the 3rd, the 4th guest, they sleep in a pull-out double bed sofa in the cabin, and when that bed's pulled out, you can barely get from the balcony side of the room to the bathroom without literally climbing over the bed and whoever's in the bed at the time. It's kind of rough, like in the middle of the night when it's like 2 a.m, you got to go to the bathroom, and you're doing some kind of a gymnastic maneuver trying to get to the bathroom. It's crazy. So we're hoping that the Aqua coming up, the next Prima class ship, and other future Prima class ships have a little more room in the cabins, especially if they're going to be for 3 or 4 people. They don't have a drop-down bed that a lot of cruise lines have.
I really miss that, because when you have a 4th guest in the cabin, it's much better to have a drop-down bed than just the double couch, because sometimes those other 2 people don't want to sleep together.
Yes. Oh, you're exactly right. So everything about the cabin is awesome, but the space, there's just not enough room.
Next, even though it's not a perfect ship, we love the Prima class ships on NCL, but with the unique size and lack of available inside spaces, I'm not sure this class should be used for colder weather cruise destinations. There are a lot of great outdoor spaces on the Prima, but when it comes to cruising to colder weather climates that are known for kind of rainy and windy weather, those outdoor spaces are not usable. So that brings everyone inside and causes overcrowding in many areas. We did not like this class of ship for our particular itinerary. And that leads us to our last dislike, Jamie.
Yeah, please, let me do this one, please. Now, this wasn't particularly the ship, but it was a certain type of behavior that I found from guests on the ship in 2 particular areas, as a matter of fact. Now, first is the people that hang out in the Indulge Food Hall. The Indulge Food Hall is a great dining venue, but it's a little small, and with its popularity, it can be a struggle to find a seat. Now, there are a number of tables with great views, right? It's in the aft of the ship. You can see outside. It's awesome. They also have like some neat canopies around them to create a very cool vibe while eating. Well, many people think it's okay to go there and eat and then sit and chat for an hour or maybe do a little work on their laptop. We experienced this multiple times where people were done with their food, but they just sat there socializing. They were there when we walked in. We walked around the place for 15 minutes finding a seat. And they were still there after we ate and we're leaving. Now, this is a restaurant. It's not a social gathering space. At lunch and dinner times, people should get in, eat, and get out so others can get a table without waiting 30 minutes. Now, the other area is a very popular destination on the cruise ship, and this is the Observation Lounge. Now, this lounge is pretty big with amazing views looking out to the front of the ship, and it's a great place to socialize, read a book, play a game, or just enjoy the views. But it's not meant for you to sprawl out on a couch and take a nap. You can do that in your cabin. There were many people just laid out with their feet up, maybe wrapped in a towel or a blanket, snoozing away. And like we mentioned, there's not a lot of free inside space on these cruise ships. And I'm sorry, but this behavior is just plain rude. Take your naps in your cabin and don't socialize in the dining venues during busy times. That's all we're asking. There, I said it. And I feel much better getting that off my chest. So, Sharon, thanks.
Keep your dirty feet off.
Yeah, keep your dirty feet off of the place where I'm going to put my clean shorts before I go to eat dinner. Unbelievable. So, yeah, people can also impact your cruise for sure. So, watch that cruising behavior, okay? Come on, guys. You can do better.
So there you go, our likes and dislikes from our recent Northern Europe cruise on the Norwegian Prima. In all honesty, it was an awesome cruise with so many fabulous destinations, and hopefully you go watch a few of our videos from that trip, starting with London and then on to Belgium, the Netherlands, Norway, and Iceland. It was a bucket list cruise, and we got to enjoy it with a bunch of our friends, which made it even better. You can also go back and watch our other Prima vlogs, including cabin and ship tours, and take a look at the entire ship. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, and share it with family and friends. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you in the next video.